could ever have. We're the three best friends
anybody could ever have.
Well, and that, hey, we had to. I've done that at the beginning of one of our shows, but this one, it really does make sense because of what the movie we're talking about tonight. I'm Stephen Billings. This is Dan Skip Allen, Andrew Cabral. Three best friends here to talk about the movies that matter the most to them. Welcome to Movies Down Memory Lane. All right. How you guys doing?
Oh man, what a week. Couple of weeks, man. I've been sick for 2 weeks, but I've been trying to work and I'm on house sitting and I'm trying to watch football and I'm trying to watch movies. I got a lot going on.
Do you see Roof Man?
Yes, I did. Loved Roof Man.
I want to watch. It's been on the list of movies to watch. Like with my wife, like I've been trying to knock out some more recent stuff that I haven't gotten around to. Like we finally watched Frankenstein.
Oh wow!
And I fell asleep, so I have to go back and finish. And it's not because the movie wasn't good. It's just I can't.
Long.
You get to a certain time of the night, I'm done. Like it's there's no getting.
Movie. It's like two movies in one. It's two movies in one.
Yeah, I got through like the first hour and maybe hour and a half, and then I was out. So yeah.
Did you get to the second segment?
Probably not. Probably not what you're talking about now.
Okay, then. All right, never mind.
I'll probably just rewatch the whole thing at a later date.
Okay, all right.
But Roof Man's on my list.
Oh yeah, Channing Tatum. I'll tell you what. Not to get off subject, I think the two most improved actors the last 25 years are Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Channing Tatum. These guys sucked as actors 25 years ago. Now they're giving really good performances. And this Smashing Machine and Roof Man are terrific.
Dan's giving them participation trophies. That's nice. But yeah, we got. What were you gonna say about Frankenstein, Andrew?
No, I feel like with Del Toro, it's best to watch his movies like in one fell swoop because you get that full Del Toro experience.
Sure.
But Roof Man, I have seen. Roof Man's done by Derek C. in France, and he just did a Criterion Closet video this week. Well, it just came out.
I gotta watch that.
I've been a fan of his ever since he did Blue Valentine. That was a movie that changed
best movie
a lot of things for me.
To watch it this time of the year.
Yeah. So I didn't know that he was doing that movie, but yeah, Roof Man's interesting because it's based on a true story, which is also fascinating to me. But yeah, I would kind of agree with Dan. Like Channing Tatum for a while was viewed as not a good actor at all. Early parts of his career, and then he just turned things around, which is kind of nice to see because some actors just stay within their comfort level. Just they keep getting jobs, they keep staying there. You know,
I think you know, we know his background came from dancing and and Dwayne Johnson was, you know, he's an entertainer, but he wasn't necessarily an actor. I think they go into them professions wanting to stretch themselves and see what they can do, and once they kind of like get past some of the other things that they got going on, and then they kind of find out that they like acting and that they want to do the best at that. When they finally get to a place where they want to really dig in, I think that's when they can actually do good work, depending on the project. I still think even if Smashing Machine, he's, you know, Dwayne Johnson's good in that, and Channing Tatum's good in Roof Man. Let's let him do it a few more times before we say that they're good actors.
Let's talk about the Hangover.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of actors, I mean, we've got an actor in here who was kind of viewed in that same light. We'll get to that.
Sure.
When we get to it, but this is Dan's pick. So
are you saying Bradley Cooper was a bad actor? Are you saying that?
Early on in his career, people didn't look at him as like an Academy Award nominee that he is now, like all the time.
Well, the thing is I think this is the breakout movie. Some might say him in Wedding Crashers was the first.
Yeah,
kind of like. I don't think that's his breakout.
He was such a bit part in that bit part, but he was the
little villainous asshole guy. Yeah,
This was the one that I think really started him off into the career projection that he's gotten to now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Which is not even close to what he's at now in the sense of what type of movies he's doing. He ain't doing these type of movies anymore.
Not anymore.
No, but he's not doing rom-coms anymore, which is when he started out doing rom-coms. A lot of the good, like Paul Rudd, a lot of those type guys started out as doing the rom-coms, and then they progressed into doing a lot of different other kinds of things. But yeah, The Hangover. Okay, so there's, we made a comment a couple weeks ago. I guess maybe it was when we did Empire Strikes Back. I can't remember, where somebody said, "Oh, I don't like comedies and this and that and the other." And
We've been
I
making
don't
this
laugh.
comment. We've been making this comment forever, not just last
Well,
time.
look,
It's been years.
I want to put it out there. I feel the best comedy of the last 25 years is The Hangover. I watched that movie when I saw it multiple times, and up till the times recently, I just laughed. I just laughed. And I was like, nothing else has made me laugh like The Hangover. But that's not why. It's not why I've chosen that movie.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the reasons, because
I was going to say you're breaking the rules of the show by just picking something you like.
No, it's one of the reasons why I chose it, because I want people to know that I do like comedies. I do laugh at movies. I do have a sense of humor when it comes to certain movies. I'm more into the highbrow type of movies, and I've taken a lot of crap from these guys or whoever else, but these guys are into highbrow too. So don't let them fool you. Like, these guys are highbrow fans.
They know, of course. But I liked this. I think we like. Maybe I don't know about Andrew. But I like things that are dumber than The Hangover.
Okay. Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
I mean, that's hitting it on the nose,
movie.
But like, I'm saying even dumber than that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. But no. So I mean, amongst my friends and my family and stuff, everybody knew I was an alcoholic for the longest time, and I'm going on 12 years sober. And being an alcoholic, you do things you regret doing, things that a lot of times you lose time. You get lost. It's like, what did I do for the last 6 hours or 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it was? And I did those things. I drank all day on a Memorial Day, drank 30 beers in one sitting, ended up walking to a friend's house, and halfway there falling down drunk on this lawn of a church, had a $40 Boston Red Sox hat, lost my hat, brand spanking new hat, woke up like, where the hell was I? End up sleeping on this church. I've been so drunk and high and driving and doing dumb things from drinking alcohol. I let this demon in a bottle get to me, and I did bad things, and I made bad decisions. And this movie, to me, reminds me of the things that I did. I literally were these guys. I don't know if what I have done in my time is to the extent of what these guys did once they went down that hallway and go down and they started.
You didn't bring any tigers home?
Yeah, I didn't miss any teeth, didn't have any tigers, didn't get anybody pregnant, didn't get none of this kind of craziness, which I love about this movie. Is like, they lose that time, that, what is it, 8 hours of time from the time they walk down to the casino and the time they end up getting back, waking up in the next morning and finding out all the craziness that they did. But I've been there. I've known people that have done it. People that have crashed their cars, ended up in a ditch. I mean, just the craziest stuff that you can imagine. I've seen it with my own two eyes because of the demon in the bottle known as beer, and drinking and alcohol and being an alcoholic. And I didn't think it at the time, but when I was doing all this stuff, I was literally turning into my father. I was an angry person. I was not a nice guy to be around. And all I did was just fall into that bottle. And because of my life and the things that were going on in my work and stuff, I just wanted to get away from work. I wanted to get away from my life. I wanted to go fall into something just to forget about everything else. And that's kind of what these guys were doing. Like, the one guy's a teacher in a private school. The other guy's a dentist. And the other guy's a goofy brother who just wants to be accepted by his brother-in-law and his family and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Zach Galifianakis.
No. The what is it? What's the
Bartha.
No. The other character, the other friend, Ed
Helms.
Ed Helms. His problem is he's got a overbearing wife.
Yeah, overbearing wife. Exactly. Yeah. And so I just feel like it's weird, and I know it sounds weird, but that the irony of it all is that I met you guys when I stopped drinking and I started falling into doing YouTube, and movies were the thing I loved for all these years, but I got sidetracked from watching movies and hanging out and doing the things that I like doing movies because I got into coaching. And once I got into that coaching, I started falling into this, going to the bar, drinking, and all this kind of stuff. And then I got back into the movies and I got back into doing the thing I love the most. Yeah, I still love watching sports and stuff like that, but I wouldn't have met you guys otherwise. You know, it's so the song, The Three Best Friends Anybody Could Ever, it really does have a meaning to me because we've known each other now 10 years doing YouTube. So the only one I've actually met in person is Steven. And Andrew, one of these days I'm going to meet you. We're going to all hang out one of these days. It just hasn't happened yet. But I just feel like that means a lot. There's so much meaning in this movie. It's so odd. Of all the movies I could have picked or watched, like, wow, this is more meaning than you would think when it's a slapstick comedy about these guys who get drunk and do all this crazy stuff while they're crap faced. You know, I don't want to, let you guys. I don't like shit face. I guess
you can say it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I love the characters, all the characters, the side characters, the side subplots, all the investigation and all that. It's just such a fun time. And we get new actors that we never seen before in this movie. A massive star today, right, in this movie gets launched, and he's a brilliant, brilliant guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's good. I mean, I always like hearing that somebody gets something out of a movie that I don't think most people like, because that's not an angle I think that most people get. I mean, yeah, it's there, but I don't think people take that sector of the film as seriously as you're taking it. I think most people focus on the fact that it's a wacky good time, and I think a comedy, rewatching it, a comedy of its time that I don't think could be made today. Even its two sequels, which are the last movie was made in 2013. We're way past that. We're 10 plus years past this, the franchise being in the reality, and it's not movies that I think could be made today.
No, you know what? You kind of hit that on the head because while rewatching it last night, I'm like, this movie is so 2009 for so many different reasons. Like the music that was used in the soundtrack was so 2000s, like rock pop. I mean, the jokes that are in it are so non-politically correct from a modern day perspective, even though this movie is 16 years old at this point. It feels like a different world, you know what I mean? And the movie, I remember when the movie hit, it was such a big hit at its time. I remember this was like the comedy movie of its ever. And what is interesting is that nowadays, of all the movie genres, comedy has fallen off significantly in terms of pop culture relevance.
Yeah.
Like a lot of comedies do not get big theatrical releases. They don't make a lot of money at the box office. People don't really talk about them online in the movie discourse world.
Sure.
They're kind of like relegated to like streaming mostly for the most part.
I think every once in a while something squeaks through or
something pops, but not as big as it. I mean, the new Naked Gun movie was relatively successful, but
I don't
wasn't
think that
like
culturally,
gigantic.
Culturally, that I don't think it hit like something.
No,
like
but
this.
I mean, like I'm talking.
Fuck 'em Hall is out now. Fuck 'em Hall is out now, which is hilarious. Oh, I definitely recommend seeing that if you guys love the Downton Abbeys and the Gosford Parks out there.
No, we don't.
It's just so interesting how, in 2009 comedies were like a big hit, and nowadays they're not really a big hit anymore. And it is interesting how like several of these actors in this movie would kind of go on to be much bigger names afterward. We mentioned Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms. This was right around the time that he was just starting on The Office. It's right around that era. And then he would, bridge from there on to do other work and stuff. But Zach Galifianakis was kind of, nobody really knew who he was. This was a breakout role for him. He went on to kind of do a bigger comedic career. But yeah, it's just kind of a fascinating time capsule of the movie. But you're kind of right, Dan. No one really looks at the movie with any sense of seriousness, because it is just known as like, oh, it's the movie about guys just going through a hangover.
Yeah,
But there is a sense of brotherhood, camaraderie, friendship, all of those things I think are in there too. Because the whole movie centers around them trying to find their friend. If these were just a bunch of, just a bunch of jerks so making sophomoric jokes, I don't think they would care about finding their friend. You know, that's kind of the cusp of the movie is them like desperately doing everything they can, including getting punched by Mike Tyson to get them to find their friend.
And I think it resonated with audiences that there's people everywhere in every town, in every state, and all over America that's probably been through something similar to this.
Well, I think that I mean, like once again, like I think your particular ability to see that in the movie is very unique. I think most people really watch this through one lens, which is that it was a really fun concept, and one that,
slapstick comedy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a whole lot of different types of comedy. It's raunchy. It's it's and it has a great setup. Like it's literally sets you up like with like, oh shit, we lost Doug, and then now we got to go back and tell the story, and then you go through the whole events, and then to the time where they black out, and then it becomes like a mystery movie. Like it's like almost like a film noir. You could almost put it in a film noir if it wasn't such a funny comedy. You know what I mean? Like it's like over the top. It's got so many moments, but it is essentially trying to track down the last handful of hours to figure out where the friend is. So
it becomes
because they got to get to the wedding. Because they got to get to the wedding. This is 4 guys that are just going to Vegas for a honeymoon.
So then there's also a running clock. There's like there's a lot of things going for it that really make it work.
It's a good framing device of a movie too. Like it sets, like you were saying, Steve, it sets up the conflict right away. Like literally the first scene of the movie is a scene that we would then go to later on in the movie where
he's on the phone.
Yeah, he's on the phone and he's like, yeah, we screwed up. We lost Doug. And then we flash back and we get the context of that scene. It's an old school framing device. And the movie, like you said, Steve, it's set up like a detective story where we go from clue to clue, moment to moment, and it's building and building and connecting, and we go along on this journey. And there are red herrings. There are like moments where like, oh, that must be where Doug is, or oh, this guy's gonna lead us to Doug, or this moment's gonna lead us to Doug. That's why we have to do it. And no, we just keep hitting dead ends, and it's actually a much better screenplay than I remember from just a structural standpoint, and being incredibly tight. The movie's like 100 minutes long, like an hour and 40 minutes, and it moves very, very well because you're constantly going. The characters are constantly moving.
I don't want to stand still. From this standpoint, we're gonna spoil the movie more because I think we can't really get into it without spoiling it more. So if you don't want to be spoiled of The Hangover, then here we go.
A 16-year-old movie. No, I mean Todd Phillips, like you said, great script, Andrew. But I want to talk about a character to me that was, and this is his breakout performance, and he was funny. I still watch him every year on The Masked Singer, and he's funny on that. But he's become like this game show kind of guy now, where he does all like guess who the singer is, or guess who this person, if you can't sing, or whatever. All these type of shows on Fox and stuff, but. Dr. Ken Jeong plays a character by the name of Mr. Chow. And the first time we see Mr. Chow, they open the trunk and he jumps out at him. He just grabs him. He's butt naked. I mean, of all the first roles you could remember somebody having, this has got to be one of the most memorable first roles of anybody's career. They convince this real life North Carolina doctor to play right from Stephen State, to play a buck naked Asian gangster, and he jumps out of and just like grabs, I think Bradley Cooper, who was it Bradley Cooper or Zach Galifianakis? One of the characters.
It was Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. And from then on, Mr. Chow is like doing crazy stuff. We get his whole character, his whole subplot. Mr. Chow is brilliant. Todd Phillips, unbelievable script. Absolutely right, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, the other thing it's got going for it is you know, Vegas itself is its own character. You know, it's one of them movies where the place is already kind of built up in people's minds, and you can kind of already fill in the blanks about what to expect from a place like that. And then you just every once in a while will get a you know, weird character, whether it's, you know,
Heather Graham,
Mike Tyson, you know, you get all these different characters that pop up that kind of keep expanding the story. The guy from the wedding chapel guy, the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor who's a real life. He's funny. The doctor. How much more are you going to give me for getting the answers out of me? The doctor.
But this was also Todd Phillips was you know, already doing films that were similar to this. You know, whether it's Road Trip or Starsky and Hutch.
He did Old School.
So he was in this realm already, but this might have been the first time he really kind of knocked it out of the park when it came to like the screenplay and just hitting it with the audience. And then, yeah, I mean, since then, you know, we obviously know he did the Joker movies, and the first one was a big hit. But he's an interesting filmmaker that obviously has more to say, but it's finding the right outlet. But
I want to ask you guys, though. I want to ask you, okay, Stephen, you're a married man. I'm sure you had a buddies day before going to get married. What do they call what is that called, Andrew?
Bachelor party.
Bachelor party. Let's come on. Give us some of the dirty details of your bachelor party, Stephen, before your wedding. I want to know some stuff here.
Yeah, Stephen, did you black out and find a tiger?
No, we didn't do anything like that. We just went to dinner, I think, if I'm remembering.
That's your bachelor. That's
we didn't do all that stuff. I've never been to a strip bar, by the way.
Really?
No,
wow.
No, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that, Dan.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
I've been to multiple bachelor parties.
Okay.
Strip clubs, nightclubs.
Sounds like, Dan, you have a lot of more interesting stories to tell.
Well, we know Dan cares about the gangster life. He cares about the gangster life, so he's obviously got to go to these places.
Well, I mean, I know. I remember one wedding because we were going to do something crazy to my buddy Robbie's car, and because he got this newfangled, nice, fancy car. So what we went and got a bunch of glitter and crap. Loaded the car up with glitter. He spent weeks vacuuming out that car.
If I was him, I would probably kick your ass.
You're no longer my friend.
For weeks. I stayed away from him.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I actually went to a wedding this summer, Stephen, and the dang GPS took me in the wrong direction. I went an hour in the wrong direction because the GPS and if I would have went right at this fork in the road, this four-way, I would have been there in 5 minutes. The dang GPS took me an hour in the opposite direction. And then they're doing some game at the wedding because you could see through the windows, and I'm walking up, my buddies going, come on. And like, I was so upset when I got to the wedding because I went in and out, dude, the freaking GPS told me to right. And 5 other people said the GPS told them the wrong direction, but somehow they ended up going the right direction, whatever. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. I'm the only one that freaking believed the damn GPS.
That's on brand, Dan. It's okay, though.
That's on brand?
So, yeah.
You know what happened, Stephen? Me and Andrew didn't come to North Carolina. You would have had a great bachelor party. If we would have, we would have really had a party. We showed
I don't
up.
care. See, I'm not a part. I'm by the time I got to I was 30 when I got married, 32 when I got married, I don't give a shit about partying.
It's interesting. I mean,
No.
This kind of opens up a whole big other thing, like the concept of a bachelor party and the tradition of it all and what it's supposed to mean. And it kind of means different things for different people. You know, for Stephen, it really wasn't much of anything. For some people, it means everything.
I was I was at a point where I wanted to get married. It was no
oh, this is. I guess my
I
life's
need to
over
go
now.
as they say in Coming to America, soil roll oats.
I know exactly. For some reason, it's like a last day of freedom thing, and I'm like, what are you signing up for if this is like, like your last moment of free
Man,
will?
I mean,
It's
it
like,
really got you into a party that night, that week before. a couple
now
days
the
ago.
movie explores this, I think, pretty well with all the
Yes.
characters, because Bradley Cooper is somebody that at least pretends that he's stuck.
he's in an unhappy
He's
situation.
unhappy.
Got a wife,
I don't,
got kids.
and at the end, I don't think we quite. I think he's more.
I think a lot of it's bullshit.
I
from
think
his
it's bullshit. I think he's always bullshitting. He just wants to have a good time. He likes his life, but he also really it's like one of them things where he wants to eat his cake, have his cake and eat it too. Like he wants both, but he loves his family. You can tell he does, and he especially loves them after all the shit they went through over that weekend. But then Ed Helms' character fucking has put himself in a position where he's not in a good place.
No, he's in a
and
miserable
and he's
situation.
he's almost willing to still marry this woman just because.
Yeah, for him, it seems like he's like settling because that's what he's supposed to do. Like it seems like so his best friends obviously are Bradley Cooper and Justin Bartha's character, and Bradley Cooper's married, Justin Bartha's getting married. So I feel like he must maybe feel like he's the odd one out of the situation. So he's kind of settling for this really just not good relationship at all. If you have to constantly be lying to your significant other,
Yeah.
in like every single aspect of everything, not a good relationship to be in. And he can't even like tell her that he's going to Vegas for the bachelor party. He
Went
has to tell her
country in
that
California.
they're
I'm going
to
to
like
Napa Valley.
they go to Napa Valley like a wine tasting or something.
Wine tastings and stuff. Yeah,
And they can't even tell her anything at all. He has to
Right
make
now.
up he has to make up where they're staying.
Yeah, he's
Like-
like she's like calling him. And they hear the baby crying in the background. He's like, "It was a sheep."
Yeah, it's a sheep making noise.
All right, now I have a question for you guys. Another question. See, I'm putting this to you guys. Okay, I will tell you who I resonate with the most of all these guys, but I want to know which of the guys would you say you resonate with the most of the three guys? Not Justin Bartha.
Man.
You can't use him.
But he's hardly in the movie.
Yeah.
No.
So you can't
Doug's
you gotta
barely
use
in the
the other
movie.
three guys. You got to say which one of the guys would you resonate with the most. I'll tell you who I'll go last.
The thing is none of these people are in situations that I'm in.
I
Or
know.
want to be
or
in.
I don't or feel like that I have been in. I mean, I guess the closest would be Bradley Cooper, but
Okay.
like I don't really feel like I'm not like him.
Yeah.
Be honest. Though. Okay. Hold on a second, Stephen and Andrew. Okay. Be honest. Though. Okay. So you're married. You have a daughter. You got a good life. You have a hard job. You kind of your job gets to you. It's tiring and stuff. And if somebody said, "Hey, Stephen, we're gonna go to Las Vegas for a bachelor party. Can you take these 4 days off or whatever? We'll be back so you can go back to work on Monday, whatever it is, or the wedding is whatever." And would you just to get away, take a break from your everyday life? Is that something that would entice you to do something like that?
The way my brain works, first off, a trip like that.
We'll say Julian. We'll say Julian or something.
I don't care. But
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it really matters. But a trip like this, first of all, is exhausting just to do it.
Okay.
But also when I think about taking a trip, and this is why I know I was ready to be married, because this is how I think. At least this is where I'm at now, is that when I would take a trip like that, I would only think, well, I shouldn't take a trip like this unless they're with me. Like it's not fair as somebody that's part of a family to then go take a trip like that
away from
without
his wife
them.
And kids. Okay, all right.
And I get that it's for somebody else's thing.
Yeah.
But personally, like, because even my brother, his wedding, they talked about doing a trip to Tennessee for his bachelor party. And I said, dude, I'm not going to your bachelor party if I have to travel out of state to go to it. So sorry. But
deliverance. It turns into deliverance.
Yeah,
Not Tennessee. They probably went to Nashville.
But yeah, nice. So like, yeah, I wouldn't honestly, like, it doesn't bother me. I wouldn't go. That's not my first thought, is to try to find a way to escape whenever that's an opportunity. So for me, yeah. I guess I'm Zach Galifianakis.
What's interesting Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards myself. But it's interesting,
Wow.
kind of Steven's perspective, is because this movie does present that idea of escaping, your responsibilities, escaping your family, as the general thought that everyone may have. Whereas where it's not,
Well, I mean,
where
I guess being Doug is me because
Mm,
he's the
There
one.
you go. You are done.
He
Okay.
seems to be
All
he
right.
seems to be the most
Stable.
well-adjusted and wants
Stable.
to be married and has found somebody he actually likes. And I mean, he
Yeah.
hasn't been married yet, but
Yeah.
right.
he obviously wants to be married. So
Yeah.
he,
Yeah. All right. So you're Doug. All right. So
Yeah, I mean the Alan character for me is interesting because yeah, he's supposed to be, the comedic relief. He's supposed to be, you know, like kind of weird and quirky and crazy and unhinged, I guess, a little bit, but he's also probably the loneliest and the person who's seeking friendship the most and trying to fit in all the ways he thinks he's supposed to. You
yeah.
know, obviously, if you're trying to fit in with a group of people, don't drug them with roofies to think that they're gonna
He thought
like
it was ecstasy.
yeah, well, he did. Don't drug them at all. Don't
of
drug
course
them
it
at
ends up
all.
being rupees and not ecstasy. Yeah. Oh, God.
If, either
And
way, won't do it.
well,
But
yeah, well,
his
yeah,
intention was to like fit in and be cool and be.
yeah.
You can tell that he wants to be the Bradley Cooper character. I mean, like right away, he thinks he's the coolest guy in the room.
Well,
You know what I
by
mean?
the end of the movie, he's just copying him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
come on, let's
Yeah.
go. Come on.
Well, all right. All right. So it's my turn. I actually was gonna say get Zach Galifianakis for myself because I've always been the third wheel. I've always been the fourth wheel in a group. I've always been the guy kind of, hey Skip, you want to go here tonight? And it's two couples or a couple and a couple buddies, but I'm like the odd buddy or whatever. Um, all right, Illuminated Pro. You're boring. You're boring. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Hey,
no,
hey, they're 6 years sober, so
Yeah.
good job. Good job. I'm 12 years sober, going on 12 years sober. So there you go. No, I felt like I was the Zach Galifianakis because I've been at so many weddings. I've been to bachelor parties, and I just felt like I was always the odd man out in all these scenarios, And I was invited because I'm buddies with the person getting married and stuff. I've been to handful 6 or so weddings, and funerals are now catching up to weddings that I've been to because I wasn't at any funerals except for one in my entire life. And now I'm going to end up at like 4 funerals this year, so which is kind of crazy. Another friend of mine died this week or yesterday or the day before. So, but no, Zach Galifianakis to me was me because I felt like I wanted to go and have fun. I wanted to do fun stuff, and then I'd be the one doing something dumb. Like I said, I ended up passing out in the freaking grass of this church, St. Peter's Church, and lost a $40 Boston Red Sox hat, But that's just one of the. I've had to barf into buckets because I drank the wrong kind of. I drank a cranberry vodka, but earlier in the evening at this party, I was just Chex Mix, and then wouldn't you know it, 3-4 hours later, bleh, Chex Mix and vodka and all the guys' bathroom. I had to clean the dude's bathroom because I just destroyed this guy's bathroom with vomit of Chex Mix and cranberry. I mean, and that bathroom looked clean when I was done. Trust me on that. But that I just feel like I was more the Zach Galifianakis.
I think all three of us have probably felt like outsiders in our lives. That's just the route that.
I just feel like we missed the boat not coming to Steven's wedding, Andrew. We missed the boat.
It was a COVID thing.
Yeah, you want to hear something interesting?
Right.
I still have the original invitation.
Yeah,
I still have the original invitation, and I have it. Like I see it every day because I just have it.
Me and him were on. We were always talking, and I said, I don't think we can.
It was a COVID because it was supposed to happen the COVID year, and then obviously everything got moved around, shifted around, and whatnot. This is a very. What's interesting is that I feel like the movies got more zany and more just like kind of crazy and kooky as they went along. Like the second movie is like the same premise, just like let's make it crazier and goofier.
In Thailand.
In Thailand. Yeah. So it's like let's go from Vegas to Thailand, make this just the situation even more outlandish.
Was it a monkey instead of a tiger and tattoos instead of a missing tooth? stuff like that. Right?
Yes. And even Ken Jeong's character, they brought him back. And they brought him back
He's
in
in
the
all
second
three
and third.
He's in all three movies.
And they made him a bigger part of the
really?
the plot.
In the third movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no. He was a one-off. You remember him, and he was brilliant in that one movie. Didn't need to bring him back.
Well, honestly, if you look back, they should have just made the one movie. But even the third movie, which was they got worse as they went along.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Still was successful. I think it still made over $300 million on a $100 million budget. Like, so it's all successful.
Yeah. This movie was a massive big hit.
Yeah. And we were talking about at the beginning, like, think about since this movie came out, and we kind of hinted at the idea of like they don't make movies quite like this anymore. So this brand of comedy, the only ones that come to mind now, right before this, of course, Tropic Thunder came out, which was a big kind of like pushing it, because there's comedy in The Hangover that pushes it, like saying retard and saying like the whole Dr. Faggot thing where he's like paging Dr. Faggot,
yeah,
and then just like kind of like, gay humor, see you later, gay boys, stuff like that. Like that's the kind of humor that we still kind of had around at that time that made its way out. And so
all the bosses, game night might have been.
Not really. No? I mean, like, okay. I'm thinking of movies like Pop Star is one that definitely went over the edge. Yeah. Deadpool was raunchy, but not quite that.
Dumb and Dumber, obviously.
But that was
Dumb and Dumber's from the 90s. I'm saying.
Well, just okay. All right.
I'm saying like after The Hangover came out.
Yeah. Oh, after. I'm thinking of that same era. I'm thinking of 2000s sophomoric comedies. So I'm thinking of like what really kicked it off was like American Pie, and then you get like the American Pie sequels. You also get like Old School. You get Road Trip.
Step Brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, like Walk Hard, is like, the movies are kind of in it. All the Seth Rogen,
Will Ferrell,
super bad.
Pineapple Express.
Will Ferrell, you're right. Seth Rogen, they like, it was Judd Apatow, it was Will Ferrell. They just had put their thumb on what was funny at the time, and then
it was juvenile man boys.
Yeah, like Knocked Up. Knocked Up, like one of the big. 40-Year-Old Virgin was one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. And I think Hangover kind of capped it. Yeah. I think that was one of the last big ones that hit with audiences. It was rated R. It was Vegas. And then I think that kind of petered out, that kind of type of comedy, and comedy in general just, I think, petered out. It kind of had to transform. I think Marvel was getting really big. Well, and so comedy was getting fused into comic book movies, and that's where people got their comedy.
And the thing is, too, is not to.
No, you're good. You're good.
Toilet humor, it transitioned into toilet humor and cursing. And to me, that stuff's not funny. I don't want to laugh at toilet humor and cursing. If you can't, like I watched Backham Hall, it's really a funny movie, and it's raunchy, and it's got so many just in jokes of like obviously PBS shows and Downton Abbey and Gosford Park and all those BritBox detective shows and all that, but like they don't know how to make you laugh anymore without cursing and toilet humor. And it's like, where did all the great directors and writers go that made these? I just watched a movie called Ella McKay, directed by James L. Brooks, and he made some funny movies back in the day. And Ella McKay just isn't that funny. And it's like, where are the horror? And I'm going to compare this. The horror genre had a renaissance the last 15 years. Now you can't even call it a renaissance. It's just been so one after the other every year. 10 or 15 good horror. Yeah, are there 5 bad ones every year or so? Yes, there are. But horror, they seem to come up with a great writing and great visionary minds, and comedy and rom-coms just haven't been able to do that lately. It's like it's a lost art, right?
Well, I think it's gotten. I think that good ones get lost. I think that's the problem. Is I think there's probably some good ones, but they don't get
But
the attention.
Sideways was a great one.
Oh yeah, Sideways is great, but it's like
You're talking about 20 years ago. That's the
yeah.
kind of the issue.
Now more recently, I think our issue is that they're not getting they're not getting funded in the studio system, but also Netflix and all these streamers are making them, but they get lost. If any of them are good, we don't hear about it, and then they get lost in the pile of other things that just keep coming out, and you never find them. So it's just gotten really relegated to just streaming for the most part, and so that genre is just isn't what's in the now. Right now, horror is in the now. Horror is the number one player in town, I think, in general.
Oh yeah, it saved the box office last year. In my opinion, I strongly believe the horror genre saved the box office last year with all the phenomenal horror movies that came out. This year, there's a good handful of fantastic horror movies. But last year, it was like every other week. It was like banger after banger after banger, you know?
Yeah. So comedies, where we're at now, you know, a movie like The Hangover, I don't think we could. I think people would cancel it. They would cancel it because it's too mean spirited, you know, it's
interesting because after this, one of the bigger ones would be Bridesmaids.
Oh, yeah, it was right after though.
Yeah, and that was what 2012, 11, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's 12.
Bridesmaids was another kind of launching point.
That was with
a bunch of characters. Bridesmaids is still funny to this day.
Oh, it's still funny. Yeah.
Oh God, I laugh at that.
I honestly think Pop Star is the funniest thing since it came out. Like 2016, Pop Star is the funniest movie I think I've seen.
And I mean, like I mentioned it before, I think Horrible Bosses and Game Night are really funny, but they just don't hit the highs of The Hangover and Bridesmaids. They're fine. There's some memorable moments in them both, but they still don't get to that level that these are all-time great comedies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we haven't had anything in the last 5 years. And this decade, you can't even sit back and say what has been like hilariously drop dead funny, nothing. I can't.
I think most of the comedies that I've liked have typically either been fused, like they're typically fused more in the dramatic comedies. They're not straight up comedy. So that's where I think that's just where comedy's at. It's just there's nobody that's quite hitting on a general audience's level that where everybody likes it.
Yeah, no, yeah, but comedy.
Judd Apatow, James L. Brooks, Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, guys that have.
There's not really a comedy forefront person anymore. There's nobody leading the comedy charge.
Candy. I mean, Hughes. Man, he made some funny movies.
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Yeah, he made some funny movies with and Chris Columbus. I mean, these guys knew how to make a movie where you could relate to it and it was funny, you know?
Sure.
It's
but there's not even go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because comedy right now has kind of morphed into where it's more prevalent mixed with other genres like dramedies or horror comedies or action comedies and stuff like that. It's like comedy has morphed into just being kind of an attachment to the other genre, and the other genre is really kind of what's carrying the movie. Comedy is kind of just in there to kind of like
a topping
as an attachment.
It's
like a seasoning, if you will.
Yeah. It's like a cat. It adds to the layer of action and all this stuff.
It makes it more fun for everybody.
Where comedy I think is really kind of is right now is in television. I feel like television comedies is where a lot of the comedy genre is still thriving. It's still relevant. You know, you have the sitcom, obviously, which is still a thing. Some of the bigger sitcoms now is like Abbott Elementary and a bunch of the other ones that are on like premium cable where you can be a little more raunchy, which Dan doesn't like clearly. But it just feels like that's where comedy is living right now, not so much in the movie realm.
Make jokes about life, Andrew. Make jokes about your life, about being married, living in a house, driving a car, living in a city, having an animal, having kids. Make funny movies about normal stuff like they used to do.
It's
Well,
tough now because people don't want to see their own lives on
reflected
screen
in
anymore.
when they're
You know,
not
because
usually.
the reality is such for many is so bad. They want to be taken into a different reality. That's why. Why do you think the superhero genre is so massive? You know, it's fun popcorn entertainment. That's what people want to see. Comedy, what is interesting is comedy is reflective of reality a lot more than I think people realize. That's why stand-up comedians are always such tortured souls because like their comedy is a way for them to work through their demons, and their demons are often them talking about their own lives or things observational comedy about their own lives. So it's like people don't really want to see stuff like that anymore. And comedy, we always talk about comedy is like the most subjective genre, so not everybody's going to find everything funny.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I don't think there's anybody really leading the charge, really, because I think whether it's a filmmaker or an actor or actress, we don't have, I think, somebody that everybody kind of looks to as like the leader anymore.
Like
That used
Judd
to be.
Apatow. How many
Well,
did he make
sure,
in a row?
sure, he did a whole handful of stuff, and then I think the actor is more important here. I think there is no Jim Carrey. There is
Adam
no
Sandler, Jim Carrey.
Adam Sandler's still around, but he's doing
he's
more serious stuff now, of course.
But
Jim Carrey's all but retired.
But he's also kind of like just living on Netflix. He's not
No.
doing movies for everybody. He's not the big star. I mean, obviously, this is a lot of this has to do with the landscape of the industry. In
the
general,
industry in itself.
So it's not playing well to that genre. But also, I just don't think there's anybody that's just like coming through that everybody's just like attached themselves to and saying like, we really like this person. Because comedy, nobody knows where to land, I think, as artists in comedy, because they don't want to either to offend somebody or something. So it's so touchy.
It's got to be woke. It's got to be woke nowadays, and you can't pick on anybody. You can't, like, they even take a character like Apu out of The Simpsons because a white guy is using the voice of Apu. Oh God, how dare you put a white guy play the voice of Apu in The Simpsons? God forbid. Who cares? So there's a white guy playing the voice of a black character or an Indian character. What difference does it make? It's a character on an animated show. What difference is that?
I mean, I think acting's acting, but also like when unfortunately the representation of that person's not, that's where there's going to be sensitivity. So, it is what it is. But I think that comedy's just in a weird spot now. And so a movie like The Hangover is definitely a time capsule. And, just watching it again, I'm just like, damn, they just don't do them like this anymore. It felt so weird watching it. The movie felt older than it actually is. I was like, God, this is so long ago.
Did you feel dirty watching it? That's the question.
I mean, you say it's not raunchy. It is kind of raunchy. It's got its moments. It's got moments, where God, the end credits show Zach Galifianakis getting his dick sucked in an elevator, and you see the dick. It's not like it's uncensored. So
remember at the time, because it was interesting. This is kind of remember there were usually like two different versions of a comedy, and you would always get them either on DVD or Blu-ray, depending on which one you bought. There was the theatrical version, which was the quote unquote cleaner one, and there was the unrated cut. Oh, it was too raunchy to show on screen. The studios wouldn't let them do it, or the MPAA wouldn't let them do it. So they would always release that cut on the DVD, on the Blu-ray, for like all the comedies, like they did for all of them. That's how they sold them, on home media. It's interesting also. I mean, just from a Chasing Labels perspective, this is the same exact Blu-ray that's been around since 2009. They've never reissued or gone back and remastered or put it on a new format. It's the same exact disc that they've just had out since 2009. So I'm actually very surprised of all of the Warner Brothers comedies, they haven't gone back to give this one a nice like anniversary edition or something like that, because it's hit some milestones. Like I said, it's been 16 years.
Forget about
and
that.
All these actors have gone on to be bigger things.
Ain't gonna be doing it now, Andrew. That's for sure. Another one I remember too that I absolutely loved was Get Him to the Greek. Oh God, I laughed.
Yeah,
the most cursed cast.
I didn't like that movie.
You didn't? Okay, that's fine.
I haven't. Talk about a movie that hasn't aged well.
That was like the semi sequel to Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Forgetting
Yeah,
things I
Forgetting
like
Sarah
forgetting.
Marshall, yeah.
Yes Man, I think is another one from that time that I thought was really good.
Yeah, I didn't like Yes Man.
With
Yeah, I'm not a
that was
big fan
Paul
of Yes
Rudd
Man.
and Jason Segel.
No, you're thinking of that's
Yes
a
Man is
different
Jim
movie.
Carrey.
No, not Yes Man. What am I thinking of?
You thinking of you thinking
Best
of
Man? What's it called? Best Man?
no, you're thinking of yeah, Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. God damn it! What I should know this. I like this movie.
Oh yeah, what is that? What is that?
I Love You,
dude,
Man.
I love you, man. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
I love
what
that.
it is.
I love that movie. Yeah, yeah.
It's so underrated. We forgot
so
what the
great.
name was.
What
Yeah,
do
I
you
know.
guys like the one with the unicorn with Paul Rudd this year? Because
No.
I talked to people about that in Friendship, and I absolutely cannot stand Friendship. But I did like the unicorn one.
I
It's
didn't like
interesting
the.
you
I didn't
bring
like
up
the Unicorn
Friendship.
movie either.
Friendship is the type of comedy
I hate it.
that you have to specifically like that type of comedy.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
That's like the most subjective type of comedic movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's got who's
stand
that
it.
guy that's in it?
Yeah.
His comedy is so specific.
Tim something or other, right?
Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Tim Robinson.
Now
so,
he's got
like,
a show on HBO too.
Yeah, I mean,
doing
he
the
was
same
on
thing.
that show that was Detroiters, which was on
Oh,
Comedy
okay.
Central. It's actually on. It's streaming now, but like his brand of comedy is so specific that like it's cringe comedy. You know, if
Yeah,
you don't
I
like it,
hated
you
it.
don't like
I
it. You know,
hated it.
some people
But I did
love
like
it.
Death of a Unicorn. That's all right. Steven didn't like either one, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Steven. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna give us on the 20th?
It's fine. It's a good movie. It's a good comedy.
This is
not even close to being obsessed.
Obsessed. This is obsessive. I love The Hangover.
It's a good comedy. I could watch it, but I don't. It's not quite as memorable for me as something like Coming to America or something that I think's way more genius.
Well, Ace Ventura is like The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. Those are my like apex because I'm such a big Jim Carrey fan. So like you said, I'm not as big a Will Ferrell fan, but he has made some brilliant movies.
Mm.
Yeah, there's some good ones in there. Yeah,
and
I like this.
Stuff. Yeah, Adam Sandler's 90s stuff was pretty good too. A lot of that stuff was good too.
Yeah.
I don't go back to The Hangover a lot. There are a lot of other comedies that I go back to more so. I mean, just looking at my shelf, I mean, like Wedding Crashers, I think I've revisited more times than The Hangover. And yeah, just it's not something I go back to a lot, but it was an interesting just going back. So I'm not quite obsessed. I forgot what the other levels were on the Falami.
Stuff, respect it, not from
good stuff. I think good stuff. Yeah,
it's like not quite. It's like a little below good stuff and respect it for me. I mean, it's like I like it, but I'm not like excited. I wasn't like super excited to rewatch it. I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I like the movie, but it's not. Right. It's not like I'm not crazy about it. Yeah.
Your pick is next.
Yeah. That is The Hangover. Please let us know what you think of The Hangover. And to end the year, the last movies down memory lane will be my pick. So 2 weeks from now, we will be talking. I figured we end the movie with the feel good movie. We'll go from this raunchy road trip comedy to a feel good movie, a movie that is one of the few movies that actually brings me to the a little bit of weepiness.
Ooh.
I think this is just one of the better kind of feel good kind of romance dramas of the last 25 years. About Time.
Wow.
Donald Gleason, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good movie.
Yeah. And it's
underrated, very underrated.
It's dressed up as this kind of romantic drama, but it's got a little bit of a supernatural spin to it. Time travel spin to it. So like but it also talks a lot about family and generations and what we do, how we spend our life. It kind of takes that time travel aspect and like talks about like what you're missing when you decide to use it, because there's certain rules in the story. So I figured, we end the year with a little bit of a more, instead of something that's like about sports or about comedy or something that's more on the fun. Well, and since it is right before Christmas, let's go something that touches at the heartstrings.
All right.
So
there you go.
We'll be doing About Time next in 2 weeks. But till then, guys,
We're the three best friends anybody can have. We're the three best friends anybody can have.
You heard what he said. All right, guys. Watch with your friends, watch movies.